Hello everyone, this is Harsha HM, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Government Engineering College, Assam. So let's discuss about building materials and construction, 18 CV 34 subject. With that, let us start with session 1 of module 1, that is building materials. So to start with, let us discuss about stone. Stones are naturally occurring building materials, which is widely used in construction of buildings. Nowadays, it has been an important source of aggregate, both coarse and fine, for manufacturing concrete. Most of the historic monuments that remain even today are made up of stones. These are permanent in nature, and prices go up if you change the shape and texture of stone. Sources of stones are rock, which is not homogeneous in nature, no definite chemical composition, and shape. Therefore, we can conclude stones are one of the important building material that all the civil engineers should be familiar with. Coming to the requirements of good building stone, under that first one, crushing strength. For a good building stone, the crushing strength should be greater than 100 Newton per mm square. Second one, appearance. The stones which are to be used for face work should be decent in appearance, and they should be capable of preserving their color uniformly for long time. Third one, durability. A good building stone should be durable. The various factors contributing to durability of a stone are its chemical composition, texture, resistance to atmospheric and other influences, location in structure, etc. Fourth one, facility of dressing. The stone should be such that they can be easily carved, molded, cut, and dressed. Fifth one, fracture. For a good building stone, its fracture should be sharp, even, bright, and clear with grains, well cemented together. Sixth one, hardness. The coefficient of hardness, as worked out in hardness test, should be greater than 17. For a stone to be used in road work, if it is in between 14 and 17, the stone is said to be medium hard. If it is less than 14, stone is said to be poor hard, and such stones are not fit for road work. Seventh one, percentage wear. If wear is more than 3%, the stone is not satisfactory. If it is equal to 3%, stone is just tolerable. For a good building stone, the wear should be equal to or less than 3%. Eighth one, resistance to fire. The minerals comprising stone should be such that shape of stone is preserved when fire occurs. The failure of stone in case of fire may be due to rapid rise in temperature, sudden cooling, and different coefficients of linear expansion of minerals. Ninth one, seasoning. The stone should be well seasoned before putting into use. Stones should be dried or seasoned before they are used in structural work. A period about 6 to 12 months is considered to be sufficient for proper seasoning. 10th one, specific gravity. For a good building stone, its specific gravity should be greater than 2.7 or so. The heavy stones are more compact and less porous, and they can be used for various engineering applications like dams, harbors, etc. 11th one, texture. A good building stone should have compact, fine, crystalline structure, free from cavities, cracks, or patches of soft or loose material. 12th one, toughness index. In impact test, if the value of toughness index comes below 13, stone is not tough. If it comes between 13 and 19, stone is said to be moderately tough. If it exceeds 19, the toughness of stone is said to be high. 13th, water absorption. All the stones are more or less porous, but for a good building stone, percentage absorption by weight after 24 hours should not exceed 0.6. The porous stones seriously affect the durability of stones. 14th, weathering. A good building stone should possess better weathering qualities. It should be capable of withstanding adverse effects of various atmospheric and external agencies such as rain, frost, wind, etc. Next topic is dressing of stones. Stones, after being quarried, are to be cut into suitable sizes, and with suitable surfaces, this process is known as the dressing of stones and is carried out for the following purpose: to get the desired appearance from stonework, to make the transport from quarry easy and economical, to suit the requirements of stone masonry, to take advantage of local men who are trained for such type of work. With respect to the place of work, dressing can be divided into two types, namely quarry dressing and site dressing. Advantages of dressing if it is carried out at quarry site are: at quarry site, it is possible to get cheap labor for the process of dressing of stones. It is possible to sort out stones for different works if quarry dressing is practiced. The irregular and rough portions of the stones are removed, which decreases the weight of stones, and it also facilitates easy transportation of the stones. The stones, when quarried freshly, contain quarry sap, and hence they are comparatively soft and can be easily dressed. Following are the various types of finish that can be obtained by dressing. First one, axe finish. The surface of hard stones such as granite is dressed by means of an axe. Such finish is termed as axe finish. Second one, boasted or droved finish. In this type of finish, the boaster is used to make a non-continuous parallel marks on the stone surfaces. These marks may be horizontal, vertical, or inclined. Boaster is a chisel having the edge of width about 60 mm. Third one, chisel rotted margins. In order to obtain an uniform joints in stonework, the margins are placed which may be either squared or pitched or chamfered. Fourth one, circular finish. In this type of finish, the surface of stone is made round or circular, or as in the case of a column. Fifth one, dragged or combed finish. In this type of finish, a drag or comb, which is a piece of steel with a number of teeth, is rubbed on the surface in all directions. This is suitable for soft stones. Sixth one, furrowed finish. In this type of finish, a margin of about 20 mm width is sunk on all edges of stone, and the central portion is made to project about 15 mm. A number of vertical or horizontal grooves about 10 mm wide are formed in this projected portion. Molded finish. The surface of stone can be molded in any desired shape so as to improve the appearance of the work. The moldings can be made either by hand or machine. Eighth one, hammered rust finish. In this type of finish, stones are made roughly square or rectangle by means of Wallace hammer. The hammered rust stones have irregular corners, no sharp edges, and have comparatively even surfaces so as to fit well in masonry. The ninth one, plain finish. In this type of finish, the surface is made approximately smooth with saw or with a chisel. 10th one, polished finish. The surface of the stones such as granites, marbles, etc. can be polished either with hand or with machine. 11th one, punched finish. On the surface of stone, the depressions are made by means of punch. The surface of a stone takes the form of a series of hollows and ridges. 12th one, tooled finish. The surface of a stone is finished by means of a chisel and parallel continuous marks, either horizontal, inclined, or vertical, are left on the surface. Deterioration of stonework. The stones with exposed faces are acted upon by various atmospheric and external agents so as to cause their deterioration. Following are the causes of deterioration of stones. First one, alternative wetness and drying. The stones are made wet by various agencies such as rain, frost, dew, etc. Such wet surfaces is dried by sunlight. It is found that stones subjected to such alternate wetness and drying wears out quickly. Second one, frost. In hill stations or very cold places, the moisture present in the atmosphere is deposited in the pores of the stones. At freezing point, this moisture freezes and it expands in volume, which causes the splitting of stones. Third one, impurities in atmosphere. The atmosphere contains various impurities which have adverse effects on stones. For instance, the acid and fumes are predominant in industrial areas. These impurities acts on carbonates of lime and causes deterioration. Fourth one, live organisms. Some living organisms like worms, bacteria, etc. act upon stones and deteriorate them. The organisms make holes in the stones and thus weaken them. They also secrete organic acids which have a corrosive effect on stone minerals. Fifth one, movement of moisture. If stones of different variety such as limestone and sandstone are used side by side in the same structure, the chemicals formed by the action of atmospheric agents on one stone may move to the other and cause deterioration of both stones. Sixth one, nature of mortar. The nature of mortar used as a binding material in stone masonry may be such that it may react chemically with any one of the constituents of stones and thus it may lead to the disintegration of stones. Seventh one, rainwater. The action of rainwater on stones is twofold, physical and chemical. The rainwater wets the surface of stone and it is dried by sunlight. Such alternate wetness and drying results in the disintegration of stones. This is the physical action of water. The rainwater, as it descends through the atmosphere to the surface of earth, absorbs carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and other gases present in the atmosphere. These gases act adversely on stones and they cause decay of stones. This is called chemical action of rainwater. 8.1 Temperature variations. The rise of temperature results in expansion of stones. The fall of temperature causes contraction of stones. If rise and fall of temperature are frequent, the stones are easily deteriorated because of setting up of internal stresses. 9.1 Vegetative growth. The creepers and certain trees develop on stone surface with their roots in joints between stones. Such roots attract moisture and keep the stone surface damp. At the same time, they try to expand such actions, accelerate the decay of stones. 10th one, wind. The wind contains fine particles of dust. If it's blowing with high velocity, such particles will strike against the stone surface and thus the stones will be decayed. The wind also allows rainwater to enter pores of stones with force. Such water on freezing expands and splits the stones. So with this, we are going to end the session 1.